My people, what up, though? We back with another episode of All Black Men Need Therapy. My name is Chief.
And I'm Bell.
My name is Prentice.
And here we go again. Fellas, it's good to see y'all, man. Kind of disappointed we ain't in the same room. We've been getting used to that, getting comfortable with it and whatnot. But you know, we got to keep the party rolling.
I'm
y'all
cool
feeling,
with
man?
virtual, man. Like, I think it's nostalgic. It's like, ain't just like our people. Like, we've been recording for 4 years, recording in person for a year max, and probably only
Max.
recorded in person at the absolute most 10 times. And now we talking about, I got used to it. Man, we got 100-some episodes virtual.
Yeah,
You
that's
know
a
what I'm
good point.
saying?
I like hanging around my friends,
Tim is
Christopher. Is that okay?
No, I enjoy the brotherhood and the camaraderie. I'm just saying, it's like this is getting back to our roots, man. This is what we're known for.
No doubt.
Yep.
Well, let's get this party rolling. Go ahead, check in, man. How you feeling?
I'm good, man. I just came back from Grand Rapids, Michigan. I was out there. I was out there for work, which is cool. Never been to Western Michigan at all. Only been to Detroit, which couldn't be more different. I didn't see a lot of black folks out there. I didn't see a lot of black folks, but I really like the city. Like Grand Rapids is nice, man. When I was there, I was talking to some of the folks on the team, and I'm like, "Yeah, this seems like a real nice place to raise a family." And they're like, "Yeah, it is. Like it's nice." And Michigan's just a big state, bro. Like, they was like, "Yeah, if you drive 5 hours north, you'll be at the Great Lakes." I'm like, if I drove 5 hours south in Connecticut, I would be in Baltimore, and if I drove north, I'll be in Canada. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? Like,
right.
like
Hey, am I the only one hearing that echo? P, do you hear echo?
I hear echo too, but
I
it's
don't.
very faint.
Yeah, we got to figure that out. Turn your joint down a little bit, Bell.
Can you hear me?
Where is it? The echo's gone now. Nope,
So,
it's still there.
well, how about Prentice? Why don't you mute real quick and let's see if it's me or if it's you. Chief,
Say
can you still
something.
hear it?
Nope. I think I'm. No, it's gone now for sure. I thought it was Prentice. Why was it Prentice on? He got headphones on. You unmute this now, Prentice?
Yep, it's Prentice.
Yeah, he came back. I don't understand what
I
that's
can take the
about.
headphones off.
Yeah,
Let me
it's
see. Let me
Prentice.
fire these off.
I hear it, but it's faint. Like it's not
Yeah, but if they're listening to
necessarily
this,
bothering me. They may not hear it, to be honest. Or then again, maybe they do.
Is
I
it
don't
gone
know.
now?
Yep.
yeah, it's gone now. Yeah, it was the headphones, bro.
Okay, it's cool. I walk this way. Y'all can hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, you sound fine. So yeah, I was in Grand Rapids. That was dope. I did a in-person client presentation, a client workshop, which is really cool. I'll tell you what, man, these little insects, ever since the weather got warm, has been killing me. I had the people come by and spray outside the house because I had so many damn carpenter ants in my house. So I just killed the little. I don't even know what type of bug that was, but what else is going on? Chase is liking jujitsu.
That's what's up. I'm glad to hear that.
He got his gi, and I'm glad at first I'm like, because now I got to pay full price, and I'm like, man, I don't want to be wasting my money. And you kind of you really ain't locked in, but you kind of locked in. Trying to be wasting my money, but then I'm like, I'm also not about to let a 4-year-old determine what I believe is best for him. So yeah, it's been cool. We're doing that. And my goal is just to sit my ass down. Like, I'm not planning on going back to Connecticut until the 27th. I'm running a 5K on the 27th with my man Oz. And that's really it, man. Ain't not much going on with me.
No doubt. P, check in, B. How you feeling? How you live?
Summer's here, so the kids' schedule switches up. It was 140 degrees in the Bay Area today, which is hot as fuck. I'm in a space like today. I had a conversation with Matt because I'm starting to work on my next project, right? And so I had a little bit of anxiety today around that because the last thing I did was the whole Grammy campaign, and that took a lot of work, So now jumping from doing something solo. It's gonna be interesting, man, because I'm in a new space of like creativity and what I'm. You said what?
Chief, you muted or something. I can't hear you.
Nah, Prentice, your Wi-Fi
Yeah,
broke up.
muted,
Like you sounded like you was, like the connection was going bad.
Yeah, I can't even. It keeps doing that. There's like a delay or something going on.
No, you go to mine now.
We hear you. You fine.
Oh, okay, my bad. Yeah, I'm in a new space artistically. So I'm kind of trying to combine the personal digging and process with some art, man, and it's gonna be challenging, So I can't necessarily say I'm looking forward to it, but I'm looking forward to it because I'm pushing myself artistically. The kids are good. Sarai's loving the new position, the whole Pilates thing. So yeah, and I'm finally home, man. I'm not on the road no more. This is the most I done traveled in a long time. Like this year, I've been gone most of the time. So I'm just glad to be home, trying to get it together,
What's different this time? Like the artistic side. You said you're not looking forward to it because it feels different.
Well, not that I'm not looking forward to it. Just it's a new challenge and it's scary for me. The difference is now I'm aiming so much higher, right? So I'm trying to create things that are a lot more extensive, take a lot more thought, take a lot more planning, and a lot more time, right? And now I'm attaching.
Is this the joint we talked about, P? You told me about?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so now as you start to create, you get more ideas, right? And so like the Grammy campaign, I would have an idea, and because we didn't have like no sponsorship, we would just do whatever I thought of, right? This time, I'm talking about getting paid to create sponsorship, a lot of different things that I haven't necessarily considered for myself. This is all a Prentice Powell project that requires all of Prentice Powell, not me and anybody else, not in association with. It's all me. So it requires a lot more on the back end and doesn't allow me to be as like free creatively, like just to come into space and do what I do.
Yeah,
I'm having to.
You got to have your business cap on.
Right. And then, to answer the why, you know what I mean? I want to create art, but at the same time, I'm not in a place where I can be creating random art just for the fun of it right now. Like I do that in my writing, you know what I mean? But if I'm going to invest time, effort, finances, and all that into what I'm creating, it takes a lot more planning. Yeah, and a lot more time. So, I'm in a new space artistically, man, but I'm looking forward to it.
Sounds like growth to me, though.
Yeah, and that's why it's uncomfortable. You know what I mean? So I got to do it.
Yeah. If you listen to that podcast I sent you, it's the one with Goggins. It's the science behind exactly what you're talking about. It's like I said, it's going to take you some time to get through it because it's like 2.5 hours, but I promise you it's worth it. You should have been listening to it today, Chief, and using traffic with your punk ass.
I was on the phone, but no, I listened to it early this morning at work. So shut up.
You listened to the whole thing?
No, I didn't get to them. These little work's been wild. These last couple of weeks, they like really like that end of the year.
That's when they turn up.
But it's been chill. Yeah, it's been chill all year. The end of the year, these cats just turn up, man. It's like, yo, chill out, man. What's wrong with y'all? And they always trying to fight. Not really fight, but they always talking junk about the fight. Like, yo, every day I be like, yo, can't none of y'all fight? Like, stop.
I mean, it's time to go.
Yeah, so but you done? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm good, man. What's up with you?
Again, all is well. Kids happy and healthy. Bubba hit her first home run, her first out of the park joint the other day. Your boy shed a tear. I was dumb happy.
Called us crying, Prentice on FaceTime.
I was dumb. I was dumb happy, yo.
Man, he had no voice. He couldn't even talk.
I was screaming. I was screaming. So I lost my voice like instantly right there. But yo, that shit was like, that shit just felt good because I was talking to one of the parents like, yeah, all you need to do now is hit a home run out of the park, and you kind of gave me the side eye like, yeah, whatever, nigga. And then like the next at bat, she rocked that joint. I kind of looked at me like, you called? Like, you ain't believe me, nigga. You know what I'm saying? But it was it felt good. My boy's doing some horseback riding, which also was kind of cool.
It's real cool.
What else I got? also working on. I'm finishing up a project that I'm working on. I'm kind of excited about it though. I don't know. I wanted to talk to you, P. Maybe even you, Bell. You got some creative ideas in
Maybe
terms of.
me. Don't disrespect me, man. Come on, you
I'm
know me.
talking about from the. I know you do the
I'm the
create. You know
old
you
Cyrus
ghost
edition.
writing.
You need to
You know what I'm
relax.
saying? But I was talking about the visual components of it, how I want to make it, how I want it to look aesthetically. But I got a couple. I got like 7 out of the 10 pieces that I was gonna write. They're all done, and I'm kind of content with them. Like, and they're not as poetic as I want them to be, but they're still creative in a sense. So I'm kind of cool. I'm kind of cool about that. And
I mean, honestly, bro, this is just my outside opinion on your craft. It's like I don't know that the Grammy winner was more poetic than not. You know what I'm saying? Not that the pieces you talking about you're gonna be submitting for a Grammy. I guess what I'm saying is I feel, and please chime in, but I feel that your craft is moving away slowly from the traditional spoken word. That's just my opinion, but I would love to hear what y'all think about that.
I think just for the actual purposes of the Grammy, there has to be a deeper component than just the spoken word to garner the attention. But I don't think the craft is moving in that direction. I think when focused on the Grammy, you have to implement some different things to kind of fit the criteria of what they're looking for.
So maybe that's just what I'm talking about, specifically the Grammys. Then yeah.
Well, I know me personally. I'm not saying I'm shifting away, but I'm definitely adding additional components that are part of my repertoire for being a theater kid. You know what I mean? Like from my transitions in a set, in a poetry set, I'm taking the time to do a lot more calculated speaking and like narration. And with what I'm creating, it's going to require all of that, not just poetry. So for me, I definitely want poetry to stay at the core, but I'm also thinking way bigger now. I'm trying to get on Broadway with a 60-minute set, a play. You know what I mean? Like so
Yeah, so that's what
that
I meant.
That'd be dope.
requires different,
Yeah, I
parts of what
mentioned.
you know in art.
So I mentioned something like that to Peter the other day, and we need to talk too. We're gonna talk off camera first. I don't want to do it on camera. Me and Prentice, me and you too, actually. We I got I got a couple emails, Bell. Not even playing. I got a couple emails and text messages about the conversation we had on the last episode with Sean.
Good or bad?
I mean, just people's perception in regards to what I said about how I felt about our interaction about you know what I'm saying?
Oh,
I got a bunch of people. Like I got like 4 hit me up about that. I took some screenshots. I sent them to you. We could talk about. I didn't want to do it on the air.
no, it's fine because I'm not backing down off it. So
no. It ain't. It's not even about that. But you'll get what I'm saying. Nevertheless, yeah. So P, we remind me because we got to talk because I want to get some shit off my chest.
Well, we here now. What's up?
Nah. We're not doing it on the air. I want to talk in private and then we get to it. But outside of that, fellas, all is well, man. I'm excited to get this school year done so I could just have a little bit of breathing room. And then
shit, you have a lot of breathing room, bro. You gonna work for 2 months.
Not really. I do the summer thing at the school, so I'm back there.
Yeah, but
you know what I'm saying?
I thought that was only 1 week you had to be there.
No, that's a month. All of July. All of July. I
You
leave
get
on
paid basically twice.
Yes.
Yeah.
I leave on Tuesday for Florida. We got the competition, Southern Fried Poetry Slam, representing Connecticut. We've been rehearsing like crazy. Got some pretty dope stuff, I think. It's kind of cool.
Yo, I want to know what happened at your latest therapy session.
We had to cancel. She had something come up, so we got to do it this Tuesday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, outside of that, we grooving. P, when you getting a therapist? Huh?
Soon. Very soon.
So
Very soon.
All right. So let's jump right into it. P, you were the curator of today's treatment. Talk to us, B. Where we going with it?
Today's episode of All Black Men Need Therapy is entitled I'm Too Old for This Shit.
I like that title.
Yeah, man. The title is I'm Too Old for This Shit.
I like it.
And I'm going to tell y'all why the title is I'm Too Old for This Shit. I have been, for a while now, it's like not like a new epiphany or anything, but I find myself a lot more conscious of my age now for various reasons, right? Like sometimes some shit'll just be hurting. You're
Yeah.
muted, Chief. Sometimes some shit will be hurting, and for some reason I go to think about my age. But on a larger umbrella and a larger scope, when I look at getting older, the older I'm getting, the more I'm enjoying life, and the older I'm getting, the more young I feel. And I'm not necessarily sure. Well, I think I know what's going on. I think I'm finding like my pocket, my niche, my I'm doing a lot of work with like shadow work, but beyond the whole shadow work thing, like the energy and frequencies and knowledge of self, all that. I'm really big into all that. And so I think I'm just becoming more aware of life in general. And I find myself um like the concept of age is kind of rearranging and shifting in my eyes. So I wanted to start just with the title, I'm too old for this shit. And just ask you guys in general, because I got questions for you guys, but ask you like, how is like maturing, getting older, whatever you want to contribute to the idea of getting older, how is that impacting your life? Like if you were just to think about it, how does getting older impact you on a regular basis?
I can answer that a number of ways, but before I do, I want to say to your comments, Prentice, that I would argue, bro, that you are finding your people. And I would also argue, as a result of that and everything else you're doing, whether it's intentional or conscious or subconscious, I feel like you are in a self-development phase, mood, mode, whatever you want to call it right now. Like this is the stage, this is my personal opinion, of where you are in your life. Like I feel like you're challenging yourself more, you're challenging norms, you're listening to things that you may have heard before, but you know, reduced it to whatever, and now you're like, nah, maybe that is me, and maybe I need to do something about it. You know what I'm saying? I would argue that. Like I would argue that in the 4 years that we've been close, I would argue probably the last 9 months, I would argue you've probably done the most self development from what I can see. And I'm saying
Thank
you,
you,
you
bro.
you may not agree, you may think something different, but what I can see.
Yeah, I definitely think my perspective, like I'm saying, my perspective on life is changing. And if we go past 9 months, because I know 9 months, that's a significant period. So it's interesting you say that. Yeah, there's a lot of growth that's happening, and I think I'm approaching life, daily life, uh,
Yeah.
differently nowadays. I think that's the biggest difference for me. And a lot of time while approaching life on a daily basis, I'm thinking about the idea of maturing and getting older and what that looks like, and what that means now versus what it meant when I was younger. Like getting older meant something completely different in my 20s than it does, like where I'm at now. It doesn't resonate the same way. Like I said, I feel like I'm getting younger. But I wanted to ask y'all, like, and thank you for that. I wanted to ask y'all, like, how does age impact your life on the daily? And I have specific questions for both of y'all.
You want to go, Chief, or you want me to go?
You already started. Go ahead. You can rock out.
Daily. Here's what I'll say, bro. When I turned 40, um, and again, definitely in black men, like more often than not, we're not gonna look our age. Not that we'll look 20 years younger than what we are, but we're just not gonna more often than not look our age. And sometimes, like my coach used to say, don't read your own press clippings. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we could read our own press clippings and be like, oh, I'm this, but I still feel like I'm this. You know what I mean? And but one thing I learned, and to your question specifically, is the body keeps the score, bro. The body keeps the score. And no matter how you feel like you look, no matter
It's a
how
good
much
book.
weight you lift, or whatever the case, something gonna happen to
Mhm.
remind your ass of exactly how old you are. You know what I mean? Like
Hell yeah.
me and the wife was just talking. Sabine took a spill, Chief, and broke her ankle at the crib.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. So she had to get surgery, everything.
Damn.
Yeah.
Get well
And,
soon, Sabine.
yeah. So now like most of my friends are, early 40s. And now everybody's hyper conscious of these freak accidents that are solely due to age. You know what I'm saying? Like solely due to age, man. And I think from a physical standpoint, that's why I just try to do my best to stay in shape best I can. You know what I'm saying? Stuff's gonna happen that I have no control over. But from a physical standpoint, in terms of getting older, I look at it like that. From a maturity standpoint, I'm planning for the future. You know what I'm saying? I'm planning for the future. Like I'm not, to your point, in my 20s, I was living for my daughter and today. You know what I mean? Like I had stuff in place if I died, you know what I'm saying? That'd be straight. But outside of that, like I'm really planning for the future. Like that's kind of where I'm at. And I'm also evaluating what's important to me, like, and not superficially, but like what's really important and how
How much
my
how much of that is motivated by age, by you getting older?
I think I think that's it. I think that's the one of the, because again, bro, like I said on the last episode that you weren't on, but we don't have as much time as we think, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's why I keep reminding myself. And my cousin was a year older than me, died in his sleep. You know what I'm saying? And the last time I saw him was at my other cousin's funeral a year prior, almost a year to the day. And it's just
Do you
like I just be thinking about the future and just making sure I can live now, right, and for the future.
do you guys do you directly correlate it to age specific, or do you just give it to wisdom or maturity? Like I don't think I
That's where I was
directly.
gonna
I
go
don't think
too.
I don't think I revert to age, and I just think like it's continual like growth, and I just feel like I'm becoming more wise and more mature in just how I look at things. I mean, obviously that comes with age, but I think the target word I would use would probably be maturity,
Right.
because I see like
Go ahead.
I think maturity, yes. I think that's probably the overarching answer, actually, more than age. That's a fair point. But as far as age, I think about, okay, I'm 42 today. At 52, what I want it to look like.
mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So I think I have like age specific goals, if you will, age specific time frames that I want to, have these things situated. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't, me and my boss was talking about this in Grand Rapids. Where I am in my career, I'm not I'm not doing stuff that I was willing to do in my 20s at this stage in my career. You know what I mean? Like we had a long conversation about that. Like I don't care about
Now
titles no more. I just I want to, what I care about is who I work for, how much money I make, and do I enjoy what I'm doing. That's
now
all that
is that
matters.
now is that age when you go, I'm not doing what I was doing in my 20s. You're like, I'm too grown for that, or it's like,
It ain't that I'm too grown.
so it's again,
I don't have the energy,
so it's the
which could
more
be due to age. It could be due to age. It could be due to age. Because I know
I,
what that
I think
looks
that's a
like.
good point. I think that's a good point you bring up, Chief, because I think for me, a lot of it has to do with maturity more than age, right? Like I'm in my 40s too, and I don't look anything like my age. You know what I'm saying? So that makes me also kind of ask myself, like, okay, so where is this wisdom or knowledge coming from? And it's coming through experience. I think the difference is as I get older, the more I start to like assess my experience. Like to make sense of it, which I leads to like the wisdom that is coming with getting older, which leads to me finding the beauty in being here longer each day, which leads to me and my perspective changing on life on a daily basis. You know what I mean? Like I'm analyzing the perspective. So
Yeah.
I wonder sometimes, is the advantage that some people have at a younger age being able to analyze their experiences in order to make sense of their now. Because I think that's the only thing I'm doing differently. I don't think like just turning 40 and then going to 41 is like it comes with automatic wisdom. I don't. I think you got to be doing something or like assessing your situation a certain way in order to kind of learn from it at this point.
I keep it a buck. I keep it a
Does
buck.
that make sense?
It makes
Yeah,
perfect
yeah.
sense.
Oh
But
yeah.
I'll add another layer. You also have had to fail a bunch.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you've also had to fail a bunch. And by fail, I just
Mm-hmm.
mean things not work out the way you wanted them to work out, or you not being where you want to be. Like there's a and that comes with time, that comes with circle, that comes with perspective. You know what I mean? Like I think our hardest lessons are the ones that hurt the most. You know what I'm
Yo,
saying? Like
no, I completely hear you. But if I'm being honest, yo, a lot of the wisdom and maturity over the past couple of years are directly correlated to this podcast. 100%. Like just the conversations we have and our ability to adopt different perspectives and take them in and go, yo, you know what I mean? I was looking at it like this, but like these two cats make a point. Like maybe I gotta, dial it back a little bit. And I think a lot of that has changed on just how I respond to certain things, how I look at certain things, how more open I am to being wrong and to being corrected and not having any pushback with that. And I think a lot of it is directly related to this podcast. And again, with our age in the podcast, in terms of being 4 years in right now, it's a lot of time to
yeah.
to develop and grow. You dig what I'm
I
saying?
mean, you think
Do you
about
think a different version of you is showing up right now versus how would you handle this podcast at 30, 31? You know what I mean? Like would the conversations
It's
be the same?
it's much
Granted, we wouldn't have certain experiences wouldn't be here, obviously, but
right.
would the younger version of you be similar to the version of you now that's handling these conversations in this podcast?
So because you specifically mentioned 30, 30 is a really rough spot for me. Really rough spot because now I'm 2 years removed from my brother being murdered and I didn't have any kids.
So
So
where
so
the
to answer this
conversation,
question, it would be
were you?
different.
yeah, the conversation is completely different. And probably if because I'm in the midst of my depression phase, so I'm not listening to anything. I can't hear anything. I'm not open to perspective. I'm just angry and emotional.
Shit.
You know what
Take
I'm
it one
saying?
step further, Chief. You may not even have agreed to be on. Maybe.
Nah,
Really?
no.
Like
Yeah.
you
Why
would
you say that?
you may have agreed to do a different type of podcast, but and I don't know. I'm just
Yeah.
saying I don't know that you would have agreed to do this.
Because like
What about
there's
you?
a,
My
what
bad.
about
Wait a minute.
Lisa, what about you, Bro?
What since you specifically
30
mentioned
you.
30 me wasn't trying to be in front of nobody. I wouldn't have done a podcast because I was at a different place in life and I was doing I was riding high. I was riding high and I wouldn't have had the attention span to do anything at 30. Um, I wouldn't have saw the importance of it, and I would have just been like, I would have dismissed it. I would have dismissed it because I had too much stuff going on for me to be front facing. You know what I'm saying? Like I just had too much stuff going on that I wouldn't have been willing to be in front of a camera.
So let me interject right now and say, for those of you who are around the 28 32-year-old age and listen to the podcast and support us, you need therapy. If I don't care if you're in the middle, I don't care if you're in the middle of your trauma or you feel like nothing's happening, everything's going good. It's good to get some of this shit out because at that point we wouldn't have given it the time of day. And if you feel that way right now, you probably don't because you're listening to the podcast. But if you're listening, someone in that space, let them hear this because at that point we need to iron some shit out and we just might be too macho or too stubborn to do so.
Yeah, I wasn't ready.
What?
I wasn't ready.
think maybe at 30, I may have saved myself if this came around at 30. If for whatever reason the three of us decided to do this and it started, I may have saved myself because I am naturally divulsive. I divulge information, right? Like I'm a front, and when I think about 30, I had just gotten married, totally backwards. I've talked about that before. So I was holding on and trying to create this facade, like I had to. You know what I mean? Like at that time, I had to. Like I jumped into getting married. I'm married all of a sudden. I got another kid on the way. I got to run with this and protect it at all costs. But I'm also vulnerable and realistic when I talk about shit. And I wonder if at 30, while in the beginning stages of creating of a relationship, would have talking about it prevented me from going down some of the years I went down that weren't good for me.
Absolutely. And only because I think with the way we've cultivated a relationship and we do a good job of like holding each other accountable and handling it to each other straight. And whether or not
I'm so curious to know what that would look like at 30.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just so curious because it wouldn't be this.
Nah.
It wouldn't be this. You know what I'm saying?
It'd be allowed right here. We'd be here.
Yeah,
I'd be like that with myself more than anybody.
Yeah.
I'd be battling what I'm trying to project versus where I'm really at. Because our conversations are real clear on like where I'm at when we have them. You know what I mean? Like it gives me insight.
It'd have been a lot of nigga. What about you? What you talking about? You talking about me? What about you? You do the same thing. You know what I'm saying? That's what I would have been with it.
100%. And I think too, Prentice, you have the advantage over Chief and I even because we grew up together. You know what I'm saying? So it's not too many things he's gonna tell me that I need to fix, and vice versa that we haven't heard before from one another. Whether we listen or not is another question.
Right, and that's the part.
Yeah, but you, Prentice, didn't grow up with us, so you have an opportunity. Then obviously now, but I'm saying then to see things through a whole different lens. Not that lens is clearer, right? Just a whole different lens in general, which could give you more perspective, which could make you potentially question some things that you do. And then for you to us, that perspective could also make us question some things that we do. Because it's just we just grew up in different environments, different circles, different people, and have some different values. You know what I'm saying? Like holistically, we're obviously aligned, but there's just different things that we look at different ways. And even coasts, right? The East Coast versus the West Coast. Like when I was in Grand Rapids this week, bro, everything was just so like calm, right? Like very, like it gave me West Coast vibes, like laid back, you know what I'm saying? Like nothing. We're on the East Coast, man, we going, you know what I'm saying? We going, we ain't speaking, we just moving. And sometimes you could benefit from that. Sometimes I could benefit from the slowdown. You know what I mean? It's just perspective.
I was thinking too about how like being out the game, obviously being married, my introduction or my exposure to the dating world right now is Netflix and reality shows and reality TV and what I see on Instagram shit, right? And I can't help but when I look at and hear people our age talk about dating now versus what I remember it to be, it's so different. So I wanted to ask Chief, like,
yeah, I wish we hindsight being 2020. I wish we had a woman in her early 40s on here tonight. But anyway,
we could always bring it back.
We're writing a piece. We just finished a piece. It was called Gender Wars, about how people try to separate black men from black women or whatever. And one of the lines and the thing is there's trauma in the dating pool, and they got pee in it. Yeah, right. There's pee in the dating pool. There's trauma in the dating pool for real.
When's the last time you were in a serious relationship, Chief?
My daughter's mother was the last time. Well, that's not true.
Let's give some years. Just give me some years.
Well, wait. What constitutes as serious? Is it like a
you
period of time or feeling? Like what do you? Yeah, Chief. What do you consider serious?
I think the established title we've given each other makes it serious.
You my lady, I'm your man.
Yeah. But I had a situation where I was, monogamous, but we didn't really label anything. You know what I'm saying? And then
are you calling that serious or you're not calling that
serious? Yeah, nothing. I would call that serious, I guess.
Okay. Yeah. And that was post Mia's mom.
Yes.
Okay.
But either way, like 6 years.
Okay.
Like something like serious.
I feel like 6 years is a lot of change can happen in 6 years, but like
So my big issue with that, not to cut you off, people, my big issue with that is with all this growth and maturity that I believe I've done and I know I'm prepared for, I've yet to practice these things in a relationship setting.
Yeah, that's fair.
So there's still some, you know what I mean, some stuff that got to be ironed out. But I believe I'm more prepared for it.
Every theory right now.
Right.
Theory, yeah.
So how does who you are now influence who you choose to date and how?
So it's funny because I posted, shout out to the folks from the tonight's conversation. They posted something about how like unhealed people or healed people don't have the tolerance to deal with unhealed people or something like that, or vice versa. And one of my comment was kind of like, yo, like the crazy part about being healed or in the happy phase of your healing journey, you recognize trauma in unhealed people so much faster. You know what I'm saying? Like I have a habit of, and this is no disrespect to anybody I've kicked it with, but like finding projects that I gotta like build up and work on, you know what I'm saying? And like help sort through these daddy issues or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And I think now, like in this happy part of my healing phase, I mean, we all still growing and healing. I'm now like, yeah, I don't have the energy for that no more. Like I don't have.
Does that say more about you or about them?
It's definitely something that I've learned about me in this process. So it's like you have to now identify what you attract. You dig what I'm saying? Or what you're looking for, or what you find attractive.
Yes. Yeah.
You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah. I don't think it's about what you attract. I think it's what you're attracted to.
Right. But now again, now in this place where I'm like, I'm in a good space and can have these conversations. I'm sitting there going, yeah, I could just see that going left real fast.
Yeah, but one thing I'll say to that is, are we now the judge, jury, and executioner?
In a way, we are. In a way,
and I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just asking.
But
I mean, go ahead, P.
Isn't that to be expected with gained self-awareness? You become more conscious about your energy and your circle and who you let in. Like that's where I would imagine from a space of development you're supposed to go. From a space of development, because this nigga's out here still doing the same shit.
Yeah,
they was doing. I
don't disagree.
Right?
Yeah, but you're learning what you want too. You know what I'm saying? You're learning what you want and what you desire and need in a partner, and you have your standards and your criteria set for the most part. And again, there's some wiggle room in there, but you know, like certain things, like I can't. I don't have the energy for that. Like I don't have the bandwidth for that, and I technically don't want to deal with that.
No, and yeah, I agree. I don't think that's wrong at all. At all. I just wonder if potentially people who are further along in their healing process is what I'll say. I wonder if some of that is a reflection of, or not a reflection, them projecting. I'll give you an example. It's like, oh, see one slight thing. Like one slight thing. Oh, nope, I'm not dealing with this. When I did that, I was like this. So I know she's like this too. You know what I'm saying?
Like it makes you wonder if there's a lack of grace that comes with it.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like because you've overcome these hurdles, you don't want anything remotely close to reminding you of where you've already been. So, you know, are we lacking grace in our development? You know what I'm saying? In the process.
And I would also argue we're not as healed as we think.
No, for sure. But again, so remember that the quote from a while ago, like we expect others to show up their completed version while we give ourselves the grace to evolve.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And
that's a good way to sum it up.
And with that, like, but still, like it, I do think that I've turned down or rejected some situations where I probably canceled it a little quicker than I should have and should have given more grace.
I think the conversation we had in Atlanta after our visit was an example of you not giving enough grace.
Stubborn.
Mm-hmm.
In my own way.
Yeah.
Acknowledged.
Yeah.
Thoroughly acknowledge, and yeah, absolutely. I wholeheartedly take that and own that and regret it. I mean,
And it's not me saying that to make you feel bad. It's just like
N-
that's just a tangible example. That's not that long ago
no,
that we
but
talked
and it's
about.
and it's but it's
Yeah.
and it's and it's and it's it's a perfect example of what we're talking about. But again,
It is
one of them
actually.
things where, well, but it's one of those things where I acknowledged, and I now can really look at self and go, yo, like that's you, that's all you, because I would have found a way to justify it, to kind of pin it and give myself the grace to get out of it without feeling guilty, without feeling bad, without feeling remorseful about it, and that's not the case. Like,
But that
Yeah,
that
it
goes
was
to what
clear
Prentice
that
is
your
talking about, like the growth, maturity, age. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
yeah, and
again,
it was
but
almost
so
like on the outside in, it was like watching it was like watching your impact, your past affect your present. You know
Haunt
what I
you.
mean? Like
Yeah.
right,
it
but
was
you but
obviously visually impacting you in the moment.
yeah,
And only a version of yourself would be able to identify it was like you you needed to be who you are now in order to recognize whatever it is you recognized in that moment, to feel how you
Yep.
felt and to handle it.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
mhm,
Like
mhm.
an evolution had to happen in order for you to even experience that, which is going to create another form of evolution. But I think it's interesting because I wonder for you, Chief, like because you haven't been putting it into practice, learning all these things, how far along are you as like in the romantic dating world of like your own evolution, because you've only been studying, you know what I mean? There hasn't been an
Right, but
intern. Well, I don't know.
true. I mean, dating is like, it's not difficult to date, bro. It's about finding one that I want to spend that more time with and move on to that next level with. You know what I'm saying? But in the process of these dates, like you fall into a little conflict or see things you don't like, and you adapt and adjust and so on and so forth. You dig what I'm saying? So it's not like um I'm just, the practice is lacked in the significant stable companion component, but there's still people around or individual
Well,
around where I can put some energy into.
does that go back to what you're attracted to a little bit? I'm not saying it does or doesn't. I'm just asking.
No, because even with some of the ones that I've met, like I've been doing a better job of vetting, like the ones I allow close. And I'm not even trying to be funny, but I've definitely, like, and this isn't like a flex or like that, but I've turned down a bunch of pussy and be like, nah, that's not really what this is about right now.
Here's the question. So did y'all know that Lenny Kravitz allegedly has been celibate for 9 years?
Did not.
I heard something
Just-
like that for
Yeah,
years.
9 years. He just was. I don't know if the interview dropped yet, but he was on with Gayle King talking about it. Now, Lenny Kravitz is, for many, many years, was considered like one of the sexiest men alive.
Right.
And he's on a journey. He talked about, and I didn't see the interview yet. I just saw like a snippet. He said he's on a
Yeah, me
journey.
too.
Here's my question. What's most important to you right now from a dating standpoint? Is it companionship, and if it goes serious, cool, or is it I'm looking for a wife?
Don't those
It's
go
kind of a
hand in
loaded
hand?
question.
Yeah, don't those go hand in hand though, bro?
Not really. It's a loaded question, and
Nah,
I'm not
fucking and
gonna,
long term is two different things.
I'm not going to
He didn't
set
say
you up.
fuck it. He said companionship. It's different.
Yeah, but no, but I
I hear fuck. I think it's just
I differentiated long-term relationship and companionship. So when I say companionship, I'll help you. When I say companionship, I mean somebody you around the night, pull up, you want to go to a movie, you want to get something, but there's no work towards something more than present state.
No, so I think what happens in that regard sometimes, I go in with the intent, hoping that this can turn into something significant. And this is where I fall short. And this is I'm giving the game right now, giving the sauce, but this is where I fall short, because I'll connect, shit'll be cool for a minute, we get it cooking, and then shit'll be cool for a minute. And next thing you know, something hits me and I'm like, nah, this ain't it. So then
But you stay though.
No. I back up.
I'm asking.
I back up and I pull out.
Is that lack of grace?
No, I think again, this is all part of the vetting process, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just it's the line. My line is here. You know what I'm saying? And you have grace before you get to that line. But once you get to that line, it's like, nah, that's not for me.
I
You know what I'm
would
saying?
argue though. I would argue that you build in a lot of grace for yourself. Like almost like
Lately, I wouldn't say so.
maybe not.
Previous,
Maybe not.
yeah. Lately, no.
Maybe not. I'm saying like almost like, yeah, she don't meet some of my she don't meet hypothetically, she don't meet half of my long-term criteria.
Mhm.
But I'm gonna see what happens. You know what I'm saying? Even though
There's grace in that.
yeah, more likely than not, this ain't the one that you walking down the aisle with. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And again, I'll
So you're
fully transparent. Go ahead.
go ahead.
I was gonna let
No,
you
no,
off the hook. Want me to
go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fully transparent. When I started messing with Lo, because I wouldn't even call what we was doing dating. I did not think she was gonna be the one I walked down the aisle with. But
Mhm.
she had these qualities that I discovered because and there were signs, right? There were signs, right? Like we started dating when she was in law school. You know what I'm saying? So there's signs. Like if somebody is driven enough to make it to law school, there's a solid foundation there. Now there may be some other shit that will come out that you got to realize if you want to make it work or not. But from a foundation standpoint, that's a solid start. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So though I didn't see myself walking down the aisle with her, she still had the makings from a foundation standpoint that could put her in the running from a quality of woman standpoint that I was looking for. I may have personally felt for one reason or another that she ain't the one, but from a foundation, from a quality standpoint, she fit the bill. And if it didn't go that way, it's because my own bias, my own whatever. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is your vetting process of that where it's like, okay, foundationally, she has everything I'm looking for foundationally. Now I just got to figure out if I can get along with her, if we have the same values, so on and so forth. What I'm
Yeah.
saying is I feel like some of those, and maybe it's a while ago, but some of those foundational things you you uh you uh you are loose with. Like you give yourself more grace.
So when you
Or
say
give
give
you give you
myself
give
more
you
grace,
give
you're
you
saying I
sorry,
engage.
sorry. You give them more grace. Sorry, you give them more
Yeah,
grace.
yeah. I would say so. Again, the nature of who I am in general was like a helper, a fixer type of cat. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to of who I am as a person in general, inside or outside of a relationship. You know what I'm saying? So when this happens, it's kind of let me give you the benefit of the doubt until it's proven. You know what I'm saying?
No,
And then it's like, okay. And
that's perfectly that's fair.
that's kind of where it goes. But I mean, I think I'm in a really good spot. And now it's just a matter of some compatibility and some connection. And so when you said companionship, the first thing that goes to my mind is like someone you genuinely enjoy being around. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Yeah. But you're right. I was vague. But if you genuinely enjoy being around them, but they don't have the foundational things that would help them be a wife or make them a wife for you, then now you're just wasting everybody's time.
Right. So and as of late, I've been sliding.
Yeah.
If it doesn't have that, I'm like, nah. But it's to the point where I've been sliding, not even because you know what'll happen is dudes will be a dude like, yo, I know it ain't going, but let me knock it down a couple of times to keep it pushing. I don't even do that. I'm like, nah, I'm not even going to do that.
That's
Let me
definitely
ask you
growth,
this.
man.
Do you feel that you are putting yourself first right now? Because you just said you're a helper, you're a provider, you do all those things. Are you putting your needs first right now?
From what perspective? From relationship perspective?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at this point, because it's just me, that's the priority.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
I was just curious. Like,
But also, I think a lot of my shit is I don't go nowhere. Like if I ain't
yeah,
pumping
but
somewhere, I'm in the crib. I'm
I'll
with
be
my
very
baby.
curious. I'll be very curious to know the stats on how many relationships exist now from a dating app versus meeting in person or social circle, something like that. I'd be very curious because I would imagine that you are a part of the masses, Chief, in terms of not going nowhere.
Yeah, but I'm also not one of these millennial these new cats. You know what I mean? I don't know what the new term for these new cats is, but I'm not one of them.
By
Like I don't have.
definition, you are a millennial. Just
Yeah,
so
I'm saying not one of these exennials or whatever exennials where I can like we from them like we don't have no problem pulling up on Shorty and talking to her. These new cats ain't walking up on nobody. You know what I'm saying? They let me get your IG. No, let me get your phone number. You know what I'm saying? Like so we cut from a different cloth. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, so that just makes you more I'm gonna say dangerous, but that's not the I don't mean dangerous. I mean makes you more likely to book something. You know what I'm saying? Because
right.
you got
And that ain't never been the issue with us.
No, I know. I know, but that's why I'm asking if you're putting yourself first. Like yourself meaning because you've made it very clear you want a wife. Like you made it very clear. So if that is what your intentions are, like are you putting those qualities that you look for in a wife first? Or
that right? Yes, absolutely. You know the whole make a list of what you want, then and emulate. If you can't emulate that list and you ain't there, that type of shit. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, cool.
For sure. It was crazy how all these episodes always come back and I'm on the hot seat. Y'all like it happens all the time.
No, this ain't hot seat.
Dennis wrote the treatment, so put that one on him. I didn't do this.
No, I'm cool with it. I'm just saying, like I always
the only one that's not married. So it's
but that has for sure.
This part was specifically for you because you can give the most in that.
Put me on the hot seat, Prentice.
Well, I think tapping back into the question though, Bell, like as you got older, what's the main thing where you sit back and go, yeah, I'm too old for this shit?
Like
in terms of like
whatever.
I'm too old for this shit.
Yeah. So like
whatever it is.
So like
it doesn't necessarily have to be that attitude or tone behind it, but
yo, you know what? I'll give you a real example. Recently, I guess I would surmise it to say like I'm too old to keep going back and forth to Connecticut. Like, bro, obviously I went back for my cousin's funeral, but being home on the weekend, I really enjoy that shit. Like being Boston, I'm saying like being in Boston. Because I was going back to Connecticut a lot, man. And sometimes it was justifiable. And sometimes it was like, well, I ain't gotta go, but fuck it, I'm gonna just go back anyway, see what's up with everybody. But now, man, bro, I'm not gonna be back. Well, I'll be back in Connecticut for the race. But other than that, I wouldn't have been back in Connecticut till July. So that's one thing. I'm like, I'm too old to keep running back and forth to Connecticut. So I'm gonna just sit my ass on the crib at the crib on the couch. So that's one thing that's real. That's recent that I've said that.
I got a gig in Boston on the 28th, Bell. So you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a Friday, right?
I don't know.
I believe so. Yeah, I believe so.
What about you, Chief? Like, do you have things that
kind of like what we was talking about, and not that it doesn't happen often, but. And this is one thing I've been super reluctant to talk about on the podcast, and I'm not going to talk about it now, but like, and I don't refer to them as this, but the only way people understand it, like baby mama drama. And there's not much drama, but I'm too old to be, I'm not arguing no more, yo. Like that shit is done. We ain't been together. It's over. Like we not having that discussion. Like I'm at the point now, and I'm keeping it a rack. I'm at the point now where like over this past week, I've really been considering like how much do I really need to communicate?
Listen, but we talked about it. I was gonna bring that up because that is my number one. I will not argue with any of them now. Like, and I won't. I just won't.
And I'm not
no.
arguing.
Yeah, I won't argue, and I'm definitely learned the value in separation. You know what I mean? Like sometimes, that you can recognize a value in not being with somebody no more, or recognizing like if time has passed and you start to reflect on it, the areas where you can kind of improve for yourself. So me, I don't go back and forth at all anymore about anything.
Now, people, I was bad though. Like ask Bell, like I was bad, bro. And looking back at it, like a lot of that shit was just me wanting to have, put the cherry on the cake. And I'd like, you could have let a lot of that go. Like you don't like whatever was a battle, I was fighting it. I wasn't picking shit. If it was a battle in front of me, it was on. And it's just like, you know what I'm saying? Like they say, pick your battles. Nah, it's a battle. What's up? And that is so. But
I'm
now,
here.
but it's grown, and now it's like it got to a point where I'm like, I call you fellas, like, yo, this is what's going on. What you think? And y'all be like, nah. And I'm like, I bet, and don't argue with them. Now I'm not even calling you. When's the last time I hit you up about a situation, Bell?
Nah, it's been a minute. It's been a minute.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, I'm just not doing it no more because it doesn't serve. It doesn't serve me. It doesn't serve my. It doesn't serve my mental capacity. It doesn't serve me emotionally. So it's just like, yo, I'm good on that.
Also, and not necessarily that situation. Also, it's like you can't fight everything. Like you don't have the stamina to fight everything. You know what I mean? Like, and if you fighting everything in one relationship, I would argue you're fighting everything in every relationship. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just one of those things. And it's like, bro, that is a classic example of I am too old for this shit. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like, that is 100% a classic example of too old for this shit.
Nah, so
I'm,
that's
I'm
definitely.
also I'm also too old to party with 20 somethings. Way
It's a
too old for
different.
that shit.
It's a different environment. I was never really an advocate, a fan of the club. Anyway, I go because I like hanging around with my guys and we have a good time. But like, I would go to the club now, but I don't want to be there too long.
I'm not going to the club.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm.
unless we on vacation. If we
Yeah,
traveling,
but even then, like, I don't want to be there too long.
you ain't never want to be there too long, yo. Even in your 20s. This is his line, Prentice. Me and Oz, like, yo, we about to go to the club. You trying to go? We'll always ask him. He'd be like, call me when you get there. Let me know what it's looking like. So
And then
I
never
mean,
show up.
I ain't doing that
and he'll
bitch.
never or sometimes he would show up, but he would show up as like 20 minutes left. So he didn't want to be there that long.
Right,
He
right.
wanted to be there for the afterwards. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So he came at the end. It's like that's always been him.
So I have this thing that I've been doing lately. So I'm in super manifestation mode, and me and Sarai both want the same thing. I want a big ass house that I own. I want a really nice California home, right? So I've been driving through neighborhoods and just putting myself in these neighborhoods. You know how it go. You drive through the
Yeah.
neighborhood, you find the ones you
What's
like.
that 2.2 at least? That's where it's the starting
Right,
market.
right.
The
Real
Bay.
shit.
Yeah.
It is, but so I've been having these ideas though, right? So you drive by and you start to see the people live in the neighborhood, and you see younger looking people with families. You see older men in their 60s doing shit in their lawn. And I found myself lately kind of looking at that shit and being like, okay, I really want to get at it because I want to be at a space in my life where I still feel fully functional. You know, like to like my fullest capacity, like mentally, physically. I don't want to have nice shit that I can't really enjoy to the fullest extent, whatever it is. And so that leads me to like this question of, do you guys have any insecurities that you've developed as a result of getting older, right? Because mine is kind of like I think I've been kind of looking at it like I don't want to be quote unquote too old before I achieve this goal. You know what I mean? So I'm putting more sense of urgency on certain things that I want to achieve because I have a vision of how and who I want to be by the time I acquire it.
I saw this
Do you
question
guys
written
have any?
down, and short answer is I know I do. Can I name them right now? I don't know. Can I name them?
Think
I
about it.
mean,
Give us some thought.
I think one insecurity, which could be overcompensation as well. One insecurity is not having enough for retirement. That's one
Mm,
insecurity. You know what I'm saying? So, like me and Lo, we have different. Like well, maybe one day, maybe I'll talk about this on the podcast. We went through something recently, not that long ago, and we had two different coping mechanisms. You know what I'm
mm,
saying? I emailed her, I texted her, and was like, I'm not buying lunch no more. I'm gonna take this energy. I'm not buying lunch no more. And I'm gonna take this energy and I'm gonna save money and buy a vacation home. I said next 3 years. I gave it a plan. Like I'm gonna have this much money this year, this much money this year, boom, boom, boom. Now where I was getting that money from, I'm not sure exactly, but that's the plan. So
mm,
what she said was, again, we went through the same exact thing. And she said, "Oh, my intention was to go on as many vacations as possible."
Huh.
So completely different perspectives,
Mm-hmm.
right? But my insecurity is like, no, like we ain't going on all these vacations. But then that's also a coping mechanism for her, just like saving is a coping mechanism for me. So,
Mm.
but it gave me a lot of anxiety. Not a lot. I'm exaggerating. It gave me some anxiety because I'm like, I don't want to deny her processing, right? But I also want to make sure we not, you know, living check to check. You know what I'm saying? Which
Yeah.
is not like we completely removed from living check to check. You know what I'm saying? But it can happen. You know, if you start in my
Making
mind,
different
my
decisions.
my insecurities is my mind. If we start living how you want to live, we won't be living like this much longer. You know what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
her insecure and her thing for me is like we need to live right now. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So you
That's
talking about
interesting.
all this planning and all of that. And not that and we found happy medium, you know what I'm saying? Through therapy, we found a happy medium, but that's my insecurity, just not having enough to live how I want to live when it's all said and done.
What about you, Chief?
Again, like Bell said, I'm
Yeah.
sure there's several. I'm sure there's several, but I can't. Nothing's coming to the forefront right now. I honestly think it's a big thing that I have is, and this is, I think, more so a good reasoning as to why I want to have a significant woman in my life. I can talk to my kids to death about the right and wrong things to do, but kids emulate what they see.
Mm.
My daughter needs to see her father loving on a woman. My boys need to see how their father treats a woman so they can see that. And I think not having that for them, I'm doing them a disservice, and I'm not sure how it can impact them in the future. That's something that I think about a lot. Like, you know what I'm
That's
saying?
real. That's real.
That's very real. It's honest too, man.
Yeah.
Because you're about other people in context to your own personal romantic relationships. You know what I mean? So something as intimate as getting involved with somebody is very much so motivated by what you are in your children and their development. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that it's do you well let me ask you, do you think that supersedes your own personal desire to be in a relationship?
No, not at all. Because I want it.
Good
I want it.
question.
No, 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 not at all. I want it for me, and I want to be able to exemplify
That's just
what a good
component.
man, a good man, or good husband is for a woman. But I also want to be able to provide that example for my babies.
Yeah, but how I heard the question was, as a result, would you, eh, in an effort
Oh,
to attain that, it's a lot like we talked about with romanticizing. You know what I'm saying? Romanticizing a situation, and as a result of romanticizing that situation, could you would you prematurely or not use the best judgment in a woman because you romanticize?
no.
Okay, that's where I thought
Especially
you were going with the
no, no.
question,
But I think that's what he's saying. Like, would I take the woman who's really good for my kids versus who's good for me?
Yeah, yes, yeah. That's a better way to
No,
say it. Yes,
mm-mm. Nope.
that's a better way to say it.
It's gotta work for me than my children.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
I get that. What would the younger you tell the you now in regards to your growth? Both of y'all.
Well, before we keep answering these questions, Prentice, what for you? What's the best thing about growing older?
The freedom, the liberation. I've never been more liberated in my life, man. Like the
What gave you
older I
that
get,
age?
you said what?
I said, what gave you that age or maturity or what?
Well, I think it goes back to what we were talking about. I can't contribute it to the age. I can contribute it to my willingness to make sense out of the experiences. You know what I mean? Like making sense out of things, out of life, is giving me more understanding on what I feel life is, what life is about, and what life represents. Right. So I haven't felt this level of natural joy ever in my life, and I like the feeling
That's
of it.
dope.
So as
That's
I
real
get
dope.
older, I noticed that I have more of it. I was thinking I was getting Chick-fil-A today, and I was thinking about how um Shy wasn't with me because she was in school. I just dropped her off at school and got me some Chick-fil-A breakfast. And I thought about how much of a priority I placed on material things at a younger age versus now, and I still really want them. I may want material items now more than I did when I was younger. However, the value has changed because I was thinking about how Shy, specifically me being for the first like 3 years of her life every day, um, I was getting something for free that gave me the most joy I've ever experienced. Like something free. I don't got to pay for it. I ain't got to get insurance for it. She doesn't require tags. I don't have to take her
Oh, yeah.
to the jeweler to get cleaned. I don't have to worry about her getting stolen in that sense. You know what I mean? There's all these things that I had a lot of value in, but getting older has shown me the things that I place the most value in, and those things aren't monetary items. They're things that are directly accessible to me through people and their energy. So I still want these things, but now they just don't have the same significance to me. You know what I mean? And I think I'm only able to realize that because I'm maturing and experiencing life. So it has to do with age, right? Obviously, because time's going along, but it also has to do with what I'm choosing to do with the time I've spent, how I'm choosing to analyze the time I've spent.
Yeah, I think they still hold value, but the priority is just different.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah, that's
exactly.
all.
The
No, that
priority
makes
is
sense.
different. So, I think just recognizing things like that, man. Like where my value lies, what my principles really are. Shit like I find shit like that cool. Like it's giving me more stability, and I like that feeling.
What do you think, or do you think there could have been a pivot or a realization that you could have made younger that would have helped you got here sooner? Or do
Yeah,
you think that what do you think that would have been?
leaving my marriage that I had gotten.
So
I
you think you
was.
stayed too long?
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. It was the whole fear thing, the whole mentally telling yourself that okay, ooh, this is perfect. Back then, my first marriage. Back then, I got married at 30. When I realized how toxic it was, I was able to look back at my life previous and identify the things that were not good that would justify the level of toxicity of my relationship. I would make it make sense rather than do something to put myself in a better position, which is what I do now. You know what I mean? So when I reflect on my past now, I'm reflecting on my past in order to gain an understanding of who I am and why I may be this way and why I act certain ways. When I was younger, I'd reflect to justify anything that wasn't healthy for me to kind of tell myself that I deserve it. Does that make sense?
You deserve like the pain, you're saying?
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
like
yeah. I was a
almost like it's
glutton.
repenting. Yeah, like
Yes, absolutely. I'm repenting for whatever sins, right? And I always have a Rolodex of sins that I can look back to kind of justify why I was there.
yo, it's funny.
Versus,
It's funny you say that because I remember there was one incident, not a major incident at all, um, with a flight with us, with you, and it was looking like you wasn't going to get the flight, and it was a very significant thing you had to get back for, and
mm,
you was like, you know what, this is fine, like I'll just learn from this, like I'll just this is this. I forgot
yep,
exactly how you said it, but I
damn,
remember listening to you. And I'm like, nah, bro, but you don't got to go through this. Like I remember, I
and I
may not
remember
have
you saying
vocalized
that.
that, or I did say, okay, I did vocalize it. I just remember saying like, nah, like this is elective. You know what I'm saying? Like this is
Right.
elective. Now, granted,
Mhm.
how you get out of it may not be ideal, but you can get out of it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you don't have to endure that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because you feel like it's a rite of passage. That's
right.
how I
To
looked
the
at it.
other
Like
side. Yeah.
you feel like I gotta go through this to get what I want to get, or not saying that you said that, but that's how I looked at it. Like, and I'm like,
No,
nah,
that yeah,
man. Like,
yeah.
there's gonna be
And I
shit that's
think that's
beyond your
how I've
control.
yeah,
Go
I
ahead.
think I've carried a lot of my perspective on life like that, like just automatically trying to make sense and accepting the negative that happens. You know what I mean? Versus being like you said, no, I don't have to
Right.
experience this. This
Right.
doesn't have to be a lesson. You know what I mean? Like this doesn't have to be a harsh lesson.
Exactly. Exactly. Because
Yep,
there's
I
going to
remember
be
that.
something that's inevitable that you ain't got no
Yeah,
control over. You know what I'm saying? You gonna have your fair share. We all
right.
gonna have our fair share.
Yeah, wait
For
for those
sure.
motherfuckers rather than bringing them on you.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I definitely remember that conversation for sure. Um, I like the way this conversation went, fellas. I mean, I feel there's just so much more we can talk about. I think we should double back to this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was a really good one. But we had an hour and 10 right now. We normally like to keep it about an hour. So let's go ahead and close this thing out and give it a final thought. Y'all cool with that?
Yeah. Cool with it.
Is there anything else on your spirit, P, before we get there? I feel like you had some.
No, I'll give my final thought now.
All right, Prentice,
Um,
tell us.
Time is a social construct, man. When you really look at it, time is something that has been created to give us a little bit of organization and direction. But I really feel like what matters more isn't aging. Again, it's understanding your journey and understanding your process, and once you start to do that, you realize the social constructs that have been put in front of you to convince you that you have to be here by the age of 30, 35, 40. um those kind of get in the way of our development. Now we can't help but subconsciously compare ourselves to society standards, and once you start to do that with understanding of what you've been through, it really really frees up how you live the rest of your life. And I want people to consider and analyze how caught up you are in social constructs right now, and which one of those are controlling you and kind of influencing your decisions and your behavior.
That's real.
That's definitely real. Go ahead. Final thought.
I ain't gonna front. I was just like really reflecting on what Prentice said, because that's I think another way to say that is make sure you're living for yourself. You know what I'm saying? And things that you value, that you personally put value on, not things that you're told to put value on. And understand that change can be good. Change can be good. Maturity is a blessing. Maturity is a blessing. Um, Reflection is a blessing. Losses, L's are a blessing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we have to be willing to reinvent ourselves ever so often, because at some point, if you are goal driven, you're going to hit those goals, and the question is, are you going to rest on your laurels or reset the bar? You know what I'm saying? Like, you can say at 20, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do this, then you do it, right? And then what? You can't. I would not live in the past. I would always be looking forward and always put yourself in a position to be moving forward. Those are my final thoughts.
Are you gonna question your loyals or reset the bar? I really like that. I put us in the screen like this because I wanted to before I got into my final thoughts, I wanted to do a couple things. One, I wanted to shout out a couple people that I had spoken to over the past couple of days that I had no clue were like really, really tapped into the podcast to a point where it's like, oh damn, like I didn't know. Like my homegirl hit me, was like, yeah, I've listened to all 110 episodes. Like I'm locked in. And I'm like, damn, I didn't even know you was listening. You know what I'm saying?
I had a conversation like that today.
Yeah, so shout out to Jess and Vanessa. And the crazy part is Jess is a Hispanic female, Puerto Rican female, Vanessa's a white woman. And then there's Alex Hogan, who's a white dude who hit us up today, and like they are tapped in, like locked in. And I think it's so dope that we
Alex
got this
is the one that came to the live show. Yeah. Shout out to Alex.
Shout out to
Shout out
Alex,
to Alex.
man.
And I checked with Alex, and I was like, yo, is it okay if I shout you out on the podcast? And he was like, yeah. So I'm like, yo, I'm gonna, because that shit means a lot, yo. Like, I went somewhere today. I think it was in a gas station, and dude was like, I need therapy too. He was a Indian fella, and I'm like, yeah, all men need therapy. I just happen to be a black one. You know what I'm saying? You dig what I'm saying? So like, but the fact that like women are tapped in and white dudes are tapped in, like, yo, and he's taking something from this. I think it means a lot to me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sure it means something to y'all too. But I wanted to make sure we shout them out and say thank you for your support, man. For sincerely.
Thank you.
And you too. This just came to me just now, but I feel like I should tell you guys thank you and that I love you. And Belle, you've literally like saved me from myself more than I can even, more than I can even count on. Like, and I was telling somebody the story about the bushes in the porch today, and then I got to talking about you for a minute. I'm like, yeah, this nigga's really saved me from myself more than I can even count. You know what I'm saying? And I've talked about it many times. A lot of people don't have circles like we have, and it means a lot to have a brother like you in my corner. So I salute you and I love you, bro.
Appreciate you. I love you more, man.
P. I've been like tough on my circle. I'm like, my circle is my circle is my circle is my circle. But over the years, it's been one person to get in, bro, and that's been you. So it says a lot about the relationship we've cultivated and how much you mean to me. And I don't know. I'm not going to speak for you because I know you didn't grow up with Belle and I. So I have a thorough understanding of what our relationship means to him. Not that I don't know what it means to you, but you are in my circle now, B, and that means I don't know if you're aware of how much that means to me. And I think it's important that you know that. You dig what I'm saying?
Thank you.
No, for real. I love y'all niggas, man. For real. Now on to my my final thought, man. So the old adage, if we knew then what we know now, I think a lot of the people listening or the young ones have to, like, we are giving you this gem now. So you don't have to have that epiphany when you get older. You don't have to have I should have listened to my mom, or or you might have that, this is what my dad meant or whatever. But like, we shared a lot of gems in this joint that we wouldn't have thought to apply at a younger age. And again, 30 isn't necessarily young, but we weren't thinking in this headspace. And I think it's important for you guys to just take those nuggets and apply them, man, because we walked the walk. We walked the walk because we were too afraid to talk the talk. So now we're giving it to you straight. And it's a point where, like, you got to take these gems in and really apply them. And I guess I want to say, if you're tapped in with us, then at some point you have to trust that I don't know if it's know what we're talking about, but you have to trust that our experiences have us in a place where we're vulnerable enough to share it in hopes to impact you in a point where it really does benefit your life. Like, as much as we do this for ourselves, it's so dope to be able to connect with our supporters and hear, yo, this episode or that episode or this, that, and the third it helped me out so much. So we do this for us, but it's so dope to be able to assist you all in your journey. That's
hell yeah.
I love that. I think that's a good point. It's like our experiences are real. You know what I'm saying? Like, our experience, you have to trust that we're not up here lying to you about what we went through and what we learned from it. Now, you could take the easy route and just learn from us, you know what I'm saying, and learn from what we're saying, or you can go try it for yourself and end up with the same result anyway. But the only difference is you potentially will have a lot of pain in the process. And we're just trying to help you avoid some of the pain that we experience by sharing our experience. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. So y'all, listen, you see my shirt I got on, hit the website, go get some merch. You dig what I'm saying? abmnt.com, allblackmenneedtherapy.com. You can punch in either one of those. It'll take you right to the website. You can learn about us if you're a newcomer or whatever. Get some merch, support the podcast. Every dollar goes back into the podcast to help it be great for you all. We will be having a live recording, a live in-person recording, followed by a poetry show coming up soon. We'll give you some more information on that. We got a voice line, y'all. 860-410-6160. The voice line is 860-410-6160. If you have not, if you're going through something in the moment, want to hit us up, reach out. We do our best to respond. If you want to talk to each of us, either one of us directly, you can just chief@abmnt.com, Prentice@abmnt.com, bell@abmnt.com, and you can just hit one of us directly. You want to hit us all, hit it, allblackmenitherapy@gmail. And I think that's it. I think I covered all bases, fellas. We good?
I'm great.
Per usual, do us all a favor and hug a black man today.
Do it.
And tomorrow.
Do it.
This dude is a fool. Yo, we out, y'all.
Peace.